Honorable Minister, I understand terribly busy morning. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. A huge call of people, my colleagues from the industry on the dais, friends from the media, a very, very warm welcome. We try and keep this short. The Minister has commitment, so just to a very quick point, this is the 7th edition of the summit that we're doing, sir. And I think technology is something that India has imbibed and under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister and your guidance. I think the entire space is becoming very, very vibrant. Amrit Kal, India की जो position आज है globally, I would say is very, very strong. So on the economic side of things, I think AI, IT and ITES guys are enough here, so I will not dwell on that. But I think what is very important is India today is the 5th largest economy, or trying to be better than that as an economy, and we're trying to go to the 3rd. So what needs to be done to build the future of this country? Everything needs to be created, and if we use technology and ways and means to reach there much faster. There's a lot of very large economy as we go to 2047, as we become a Viksit Bharat. So the huge opportunity lies in manufacturing, in services, in agriculture. And I was talking to colleagues from SAP and obviously from Google as well. And we just discussed about some pilots that need to be looked at. And we will take some opportunity and your influence to get us through, to get those pilots going. And where we can actually make the difference and show to the world that how imbibing and using technology would be of use. So with those words, I think once again, a very, very round and warm welcome to the Minister, and thank you for joining us.
Respected Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, Honorable Minister of State, in charge for Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, Minister of State for Prime Minister's Office, Department of Atomic Energy, Space, Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Government of India, and my industry colleagues. Absolute honor to welcome you, sir, and to all of you to this important session, our 7th annual summit on AI. Artificial intelligence, or Gen AI as we fondly talk about, is certainly revolutionizing the way computer systems learn from data, solve problems, and even provide creativity. Its increasing adoption across all sectors of the economy is changing the way work, business, and societal outlook is getting conducted. Our Honorable Prime Minister vision of AI for all is indeed a unique and pioneering vision to look at the transformative role of AI to enhance human lives and social welfare. We are thankful to you, sir, for your taking time from your busy schedule and be with us today. In you, we have a leader who truly understands the power of AI in transforming India and lead its march to a Viksit Bharat. Sir, you rightly highlighted the critical role AI can play in revolutionizing governance, streamlining operations, and improving decision-making process across various government departments and business entities. You will be happy to know, sir, that technology companies have already developed AI solutions that could transform key sectors like healthcare, agriculture, and public services delivery, ensuring that the government departments become more efficient and public services more responsive to citizen needs. So while talking about the importance of AI in governance, you also alluded to the important aspect of responsible AI for safeguarding sensitive data and ensuring confidentiality. You will be happy to know that the industry is already taking appropriate steps in ensuring AI is responsible, trustworthy, relevant, and ethical. Industry understands that it is important for AI to align technology innovation with ethical principles and social responsibility. We will be happy to join hands with the Government of India to develop joint ethical frameworks and standards for AI in the country. In our opinion, these initiatives are areas where government investment should be prioritized and could be prioritized. This will not only increase the business confidence in adopting AI, but also support best practice and industry knowledge sharing across the economy. With these words, I welcome you, sir, once again.
I invite Sri Sandeep Patel, MD, IBM and Chair SHMI AI Task Force to address the gathering. Can you please welcome him on the dais?
Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh for Science and Technology, respected colleagues from the industry. The theme of this today's meet has been chosen very, very carefully, and that is about artificial intelligence and how that can really power societies and business effectively. I had said this in the morning and I'm going to say it again because we are truly witnessing India's digital renaissance, and in many respects I like to call it the Naya Daur of digital Bharat that will continue to propel us towards our Honorable Prime Minister's vision of a Viksit Bharat by 2047. And I think Gen AI has a lot to do to play in this space. As I mentioned earlier, artificial intelligence to be real needs to meet the pre-test. It's got to be practical, it's got to be responsible, and it must be embeddable. By embeddable, I mean it should be embedded in our day-to-day operations so that we really get the value of it from productivity and other standpoint. I want to lay out 3 examples. So I know I had a lot of discussions earlier today about AI, but I think at the end of the day, AI only becomes relevant if we put it to the right use and we ensure that it drives business and societal impact. A few years ago, one of the things that we had experimented with in India is in the area of precision agriculture. A lot of what AI has to do with is to take disparate forms of data and bring them together in a way that can augment human intelligence and enable people to make better decisions. Precision agriculture is a way of taking unstructured weather data, a lot of data around climate situations and others, bring it together so that farmers in our country know how and when to irrigate, how and when to get the right prices in the local mandis, and actually eliminate the middleman where they can bring their produce to the market a lot faster. Again, an area where Gen AI can actually, if it's scaled with the right level of data and the right applications, can truly revolutionize how agriculture is driven at a farmer level in the country. Become the services, IT services industry, which we are already an IT services hub of the world, but really scale that to a much larger number. Similarly, I think as we start to look at each of our individual operations, it gives us the ability to really drive both software development as well as other operations that we can increase productivity on and therefore create much stronger business and societal impact. I want to leave you with these examples because at the end of the day, for AI to be real, to really impact business and society, it has to be grounded in use cases, and use cases that are real, that are relevant for our country, that are deployed in a responsible manner, which are free from bias and have the right level of transparency. And if we do that right, then this technology actually has the ability to truly propel us much faster towards Viksit Bharat. Thank you.
I'm so happy to be here as the co-chair of ASSOCHAM's AI committee. I'm really truly honored to address all of you today. And Honorable Minister, thank you so much for taking out the time for being here with us today. It's extremely inspiring to witness the transformative power of AI unfolding across India, revolutionizing sectors like healthcare, education, citizen services, and fundamentally changing how we interact with technology. It gives me immense joy as I look around this room, right? I see partners, I see de-risk, I see cloud, and I see a host of you that are committed to an AI journey. At Google, we have a very long and long-standing partnership with the government and the broader AI ecosystem to help responsibly realize India's vision for AI. We strongly believe that this is an industry-led and an ecosystem-led effort, and we're completely in to contribute our expertise, our resources, our innovative solutions to help scale India's mission and agenda. The Indian government's collaborative and forward-looking approach to AI and its democratization is indeed commendable, exemplified by initiatives such as India AI Mission, Project Bharshini, and the Startup India Seed Fund. These programs, with substantial funding and strategic partnerships with empowered startups, fostered entrepreneurship in the country and broken down language barriers. Google is so proud to support these initiatives and believes that this public-private partnership is essential for accelerating research and creating shared resources. Our commitment to democratizing AI is evident across multiple pronged approaches that we've taken. The first, at Google, we recognize the need for self-sustaining AI infrastructure to support the startup development. This aligns with the India AI's mission goal of enhancing India's computing capacity that I just heard my colleague talk about. Google is actively contributing to India's digital public infrastructure, which is DPI, including Aadhaar and UPI. Digital and identity infrastructure in one go. At Google, we realize the importance of an AI-empowered workforce, and our recent partnership with METI to train and support 10,000 Indian startups in AI is another big step in that direction. Striking that crucial balance between innovation responsibility is foundational to our transformative ability and our ethical development. These are not in any way competing goals, but inseparable elements that we need to take forward together. We continue to focus on security and privacy by design.
Is our chief guest, Dr. Jitendra Singh, with a warm round of applause.
Good afternoon. Mr. Vora had to make some effort to elicit a response to good afternoon. I'm sure next time when we meet of the 8th session, we won't have to do that because there will be an AI-driven software. Nevertheless, Mr. Deepak Sood, the Secretary General Association, Mr. Manish Prasad, Mr. Sandeep Patil, Mr. Vora, members of the association family, representatives from industry, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I think I ought to congratulate Association for having continued this sequence of holding these annual meetings. I believe this is the 7th one, as people were telling me. And I also wish to compliment them for choosing this afternoon's theme, subject, which is simultaneously contemporary as well as current, and also simultaneously critical as well as crucial. So you can understand the relevance of this. And I also appreciate the theme that we gave this, the artificial intelligence development, innovation, ethics and governance, which virtually sums up everything about the subject. So if I were asked to sum up in a single sentence, I would rather say that we are left with no option but to adopt this new phenomenon. And therefore, the actual subject of discussion would be how best to adopt the artificial intelligence optimally without getting consumed by it. And I'm sure in the months and times to come, that is something which is going to confront each one of us, regardless of whichever area of work we are engaged in. And when we confront this question, I don't think we need to be extraordinarily apprehensive, because I'm sure before each technology came, a question like this might have confronted the stakeholders in those times. Just imagine when India started its atomic nuclear program. Hiroshima and Nagasaki had just happened about less than a decade ago. And when Homi Baba gathered the courage to start the program, I often say, who would have trusted him when he said that our nuclear program is dedicated to peaceful purposes? Because the word atom was so heavily loaded with everything that is not peaceful. And yet, and now we see the results. We are going for that target of net zero, and we look forward to nuclear energy, and of course, in a host of other areas. Similarly, also, when almost 8 decades ago, and that is close to the area of my work, the medical practice and diabetes. Alexander Fleming came out with penicillin, which was described the world over as the queen of drugs. There were certain wise worthies who said, now this will kill all the healthy germs inside. But what happened? Very soon we realized that they stopped killing even the unhealthy germs, which build resistance. We had to find another set of new generation of antibiotics. And therefore, I think we have an opportunity to use this potential, and how best to use it is what is the issue. Much has been said, I don't wish to be repetitive, but I think in the recent past, the recent few years, we have done, at least personally, I've done at least 2 experiments with artificial intelligence in a somewhat of a successful manner. One is, of course, the hybrid mode. And I think I was among the first who had it by constituents. I still have a telemedicine mobile clinic, which we have called Doctor on Weeks. So it has a medical doctor who is simply a graduate, but that clinic is connected with some of the best super specialty hospitals across the country, Bengaluru, Ahmedabad, Surat, etc. And there is, of course, a group of 3 or 4 young techno-savvy boys and girls. And this medical doctor sitting there connects the patient to the AI doctor, who is also sitting there, behind the screen. Now she has the capacity to speak in the language you speak, in the accent you speak. You can talk to her in Telugu and simultaneously switch over to Punjabi. She will oblige you by speaking better than you, your own mother tongue. And I've been running that clinic for the last about 2 years. I choose the remotest villages where doctor hardly reaches, or even if they have a dispensary, it is unknown. And they do a rapier, and therefore it's quite a boon. Of course, it's a costly affair. We have one phase of 3 months each, covering about 60 villages, which costs about 50-60 lakh, but of course it's done out of CSR, because we are doing it out of philanthropy. But it could be a good lucrative health startup as well. And that's a deciding point. But nevertheless, that's going to be an upcoming area of startups. And within 10 minutes, this AI doctor connects the patient to the concerned super specialist in whichever part of the country. And the investigations are already there by those technical team. And in less than 40-50 minutes, the patient gets a prescription which in a corporate hospital would cost him not less than 20,000-30,000, maybe appointment again, waiting of 2-3 weeks. So that is the kind of advantage and boom using AI with an intermix of the human face. I, in my words, would call it hybrid, because we have started using the term for virtual talking to maybe. The second experiment, where also was a learning experience, was our grievance redressals. Under Prime Minister Modi, there has been tremendous efforts, and the Prime Minister has been himself emphasizing that we should have a very robust grievance redressal system, because that is the actually true litmus test of any healthy governance. And rightly so, transparency, accountability, and of course, both of these connected to grievance, because that serves not only for the satisfaction of the citizen, but also important input about what the flaws are. And when this government came in 2014, we just used to receive about 2 lakh complaints from all over the country in a single year, which is hardly a number for a country as vast and as populous as India. Today we have nearly 25 lakh every year in the central government itself. It's gone up many times, and that's because we institutionalized the grievance system, centralized it, also inculcated latest technology, even the AI component, and made it so efficient that we started achieving 97% disposal every week. I personally used to monitor every Friday. So, yeah. But the other part of it which does not deserve such a spontaneous clap is, one day I told the secretary in the administrative form of the question, I said, our disposal is really 100%, but every complainant goes back with a long face. So he looked up and he said, what do you mean? I said, no, there is something called happiness index in Europe, please talk about these days. And no two words in English language mean the same. So disposal doesn't mean satisfaction. When the person files a complaint, he writes, why not I be Secretary General of SHM? Why Deepak Sukh? Now what does the mechanism do? He processes the complaint, gets the reply from the SHM governing body. They say, look, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 reasons why Deepak should be there, not this. But I thought once I filed the complaint, those on the other side would get alerted to accommodate me somewhere, which doesn't happen. So your disposal is 100% but not happy. And ultimately the aim of technology is to bring satisfaction to the life of a citizen. We might have faith in the project. So he asked me, then what do you have in mind? I said, why not have a human interface for artificial intelligence? So far we were talking about artificial intelligence interface. I think we experimented with a human interface in artificial intelligence, and we were short of accommodation because this office operates from Sardar Patel Road. We got a chamber hired at Noida, and a boy or a girl calls every complaint after disposal. He is called by one of the human representatives. कि भाई साहब क्या हुआ, कैसा हुआ, क्या होना है, सबका एक ही है, ऐसे ही है, सब जगह से यही जवाब मिला. That's expected because so much of cynicism has come into the mind of a citizen over conditioning of the last several decades before this government came in. तो फिर आप उसको कह कर नहीं, इसका ये भी रेमेडी हो सकता है, ये भी हो सकता है, ये देखिए ना, ये कुछ ऊपर 1 ही साल बाकी है, एसोसिएशन के 3 साल का 3 साल पे एक तो हो गया, 2 साल है, ऐसा क्या है, और आप लाइफ एज इज ऑन योर साइड, जाकर उसको हो जाएगा. काइंड ऑफ काउंसलिंग, और हाँ इसका लीगल रेमेडी हो सकता है किसी ने इसका दिया. So that's what now we started doing. So what I'm trying to say is that artificial intelligence would be a great blessing but not an end in itself. So that, and I keep narrating everywhere, that look at, we have done a novel experiment of bringing in a human interface. And therefore, now practically every area of work, we can't keep it away because that will be to our advantage, particularly at a time when India is looking forward to look up to the global standards, to meet the global parameters and to excel globally. So we have it in health, as I just told you, we have it in agriculture in a big way, as was being narrated before me. We have in governance, the notes, the presses, summaries being prepared, of course, with all the safeguards as will be mentioned by Mr. Prasad. Judiciary, of course, is now using it in a big way. Industry, I need not say startups. And therefore, the apprehension may not be, could be sometimes not of a question because this depends on who is handling it. Again, without sounding boastful, I would say we were the first possibly government sector to have used face recognition technology. Because there is a rule that every pensioner has to get himself verified as being alive every year. And that's around the month of November. So I said it's not very human because as a medical practitioner, I saw people getting the death certificate, the survivors, because they thought if you don't get the death certificate, you don't get the insurance benefit of the deceased one. But asking someone to produce a certificate when he is alive is not very kind. So we started digital means biometry. But then somewhere last year, I realized that some people started reading law and beyond certain age of 75, 80 possibly, biometrics are not that relevant. So what do? So I got that idea, we shared it as GAN. My team was very cooperative. We have an app. The elder citizen just looks into the camera of his mobile, and in less than maybe 50 seconds, the certificate of his being alive gets verified with his Aadhaar number and is furnished with the details of the bank. And when I told my team, I said, did you realize the face recognition technology has this good service for the citizens, whereas in the initial time it was mostly being used by the crime world. And being business representatives, you know, at least I know of a case where they went to conduct the raid, they could not open the almirah where all the booty lay. That was about a decade and a half back. It was just coming in India. Many people were not aware of it, what it was all about. So they got a computer expert, they got a mechanic, all sorts of people. And then they realized there's a small micro camera fitted in the almirah. And unless the owner came and peeped into this camera, it would not open. But yes, we have set an example of using it for good reasons as well. So why I am giving you these examples is that for every technology, of course, is accompanied with such thoughts, but ultimately it is how we handle it. And of course, the Modi government is very cautious of it. We have started AI program also in the Department of Science and Technology, and we are working on it in a big way, of course, with all the safeguards, which will of course be required in every other case as well, even in use of other technologies or other tools. And therefore, I think important for us, because now all of us when we sit together, is to have a good data as I was discussing with people. So good artificial intelligence data generated from India. So indigenous data with a wide range, and of course the regulations would also happen when we learn from the data. And of course the three-pronged approach, the innovation, collaboration and ethics. Because innovation is because each day this technology will be evolving. So the challenge would be to keep pace with its evolution, because it will then move on. You didn't have chatbots till a few months or a year ago, now you have that. You don't know what is going to be there tomorrow. So second is collaboration, because I totally agree, the era of working in silos is over. The demarcation between the private and the public sector has to be done away with. We have to move on from where we are, particularly if we have to achieve that award goal of Viksit Bharat 2047. And of course, ethics is applicable everywhere, even if it is non-technological means. I think the easiest definition of ethics was given by an Englishman, because most of the Victorian adages are time-tested. So ethics means you are conducting yourself in a befitting manner even when you are not being watched by anyone. So if that kind of value inside you, or the self-esteem or self-value inside you happens, I think that's applicable everywhere else. Why only in case of artificial intelligence? Even in case of dealing with each other, dealing with team members. But India has the advantage of having a combination of the most modern technologies and also the treasure of the traditional knowledge. And I'm glad to share that in the other department I am working with CSIR, we have set up a traditional knowledge digital laboratory, which is known as TKDL, because youngsters find fancy remembering the acronyms. So it is traditional knowledge digital library. So you can pick up your modern technology and also relate it with the traditional knowledge which has come down for ages and ages. And that has been also very obviously manifest by the Prime Minister, by this government. Just give you two examples. It was the Prime Minister who spoke of yoga, which is of course a traditional means of well-being, also sometimes disease cure. And it was the same Prime Minister who was personally monitoring the trials of the COVID vaccine. So we used yoga and integrated it with the first ever DNA vaccine, which also happens to be in the Department of Biotechnology, which I explained to you. So see, that is an optimum mix of the most ancient strategies or options with the latest. And even in the policy making, it's the same government which launched Pradhan Mantri Vishwakarma. I think one of the, though it's not been propagated enough, but it's very close to my heart, because it's a program which tends to promote the traditional skills, whether it's weaving, whether it's handicraft, so that you make a livelihood for yourself, and at the same time you also keep those skills alive which are inherent to Indian civilization. So you are serving both the cause. You are serving the cause of preserving your legacy, of preserving. Well, I worked for a while for my organization in the UP, and many of the oldies would tell me who were working in that now, हमारे बात तो ये खत्म हो गया, क्योंकि बच्चों को इसमें कोई नजर नहीं आता. So this is a good program which gives you training, funding for the tools, and also provides you livelihood. Why I am saying so is that simultaneously the same government just about 2 months back has come out with a biotechnology policy, and we are possibly one of the first countries to have done so. Biotechnology that is called BioE3, it means biotechnology for economy, biotechnology for environment, biotechnology for employment. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I think you would have a greater stake sooner than later, because the next industrial revolution is going to be largely bioeconomy driven, and that is a unanimous thought among the economists the world over, just as the last industrial revolution 1990 was IT driven. And we in India are among the first to have actually initiated ourselves into that. We have a startup group in Bengaluru which has also started producing animal-free milk, animal-free mutton, and they are also exporting it now. So we are having the advantage of mixing the two, and therefore ultimately if it has to be citizen-centric, and finally, as I said, to bring ease of living the life of citizens. It has to be equitable, accessible to all, the artificial intelligence tools have to be inclusive, and they have to be primarily based on the principles of social justice and economic justice. And for a country like India, which is looking forward to be on the world pedestal in 2047, I think artificial intelligence could very well be the road to that destination. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.